In the last video, we talked about the constructors and how you can use a constructor in a class to initialize the variables, or maybe if you want to do some pre-processing at the time of class instance creation. Along with the constructor, Apex also has initialization block, which is very simple to use and it has very similar purpose to a constructor as well. The initialization blocks are generally used to initialize the variable's value again at the time of instance creation. I already have my COVID-19 example here from the previous video, and what I'll do, I'll remove both my constructor from here and I'll use an initialization block. And using initialization block is not complex, it's very easy. What you need to do is you simply need to have two curly braces, and this is called an initialization block, and whatever you are going to write here is going to be executed at the time of class instance creation. And you can write all your statements here that you want to execute at the time of class instance creation. For example, if you want to set this recovered in area to 5 maybe at the time of class instance creation, and the same to the recovered in country as well, you can simply write these two statements within an initialization block, and these two statements will get executed when you'll create the instance of your class. So let's save it and let's go to our anonymous window. Here we need to remove 5 because we don't have a constructor in our class now, but there is a blank constructor which is automatically created by the Apex, so we don't have to worry about that. We can simply execute this code. And we get recovered in Jaipur is 5 and recovered in country is also 5. Now you must be asking, why do we have constructor and initialization block both? The constructors you can use to actually get some input from the user as well. You could accept the recovered in area parameter value from the user and set it to your class variables, but in the initialization block you cannot accept any value from the user. You can write some general statement here without any user input, so you can hard code your value for the recovered in area instead of getting from the user. If you want to get the value from the user, then you can use the constructor, and the value that you are going to write within this initialization block is not being shared across all the instances. These are instance specific. So if you remember our static initialization block, we can have a simple static initialization block as well, and whatever the statement that you are going to write in this static initialization block is being shared across your entire org. So there we go, we have 3 different tools in Apex that gets called at the time of class initialization. As per my personal experience, we rarely use the static initialization block and the normal initialization block. We generally use the constructors because it makes your code more readable and it's easy to understand, and you can also accept the values from the user as well. Now the last thing that I want to tell you is that you can have multiple initialization block as well, and these gets called in the same order as they are defined. So if this initialization block is on top, then this will be called first and this will be called later on. So if I'll remove one of the statement from the top and one of the statement from the second initialization block, my code will still work. I can still save it and execute my code, and you will still see that recovered in area and country is still 5. Awesome. So that's all in this video. In the next video, we'll discuss the life cycle of a Apex class, like when a constructor is called, when a initialization block is called, and when a static initialization block is called. So I'll see you all in the next video.